Okay, so good afternoon. Hopefully everyone's just dialing in now. This is the British Society of São Paulo, and then for the first time we've decided to broadcast the presentations of the British community in São Paulo, as we believe that they may be of interest to many others, as the organizations are open to all nationalities. We'll be talking to a number of the principal organizations today. But for the full list of British organizations in São Paulo, including the Embassy, the Consulate, the Chamber of Commerce, BBC, Cultura Inglesa, among others, please visit the website. Hopefully you're able to see the website just in front of us. Actually, maybe we'll just, so this is a picture of myself, obviously not very photogenic, and then we'll just go through, hopefully, so you can see the to connect. You should be able to see because there's two things. One is to connect on the video, and the other is to connect on the audio. To connect on the audio, you have to click on the button indicated, and then once you're connected, then you'll see this this little tick mark explaining that you're connected. So I guess with that, because we have a very big agenda today and a lot of people to talk to. So I guess with that, let's show you the agenda. So the organizations that we'll be talking to today will be the FBB, which is the Fundação Britânica, the Beneficência, the British Charitable Foundation. It's been in existence in the state of São Paulo since 1947. They were created upon the suggestion of the UK Secretary of State for Foreign and Commonwealth Affairs to look after the aging after the Second World War. So that was back in 1947, and then the work's divided into a number of programs carefully developed and engineered to have high impact and to make a difference in the lives of many elderly people that were in need and still need assistance during the rest of their lives. And then in this manner, the British community can retribute the kindness received from those who have done so much for us. And then hopefully we'll be talking to about the Spotlight. Spotlight's the magazine which covers the principal events of the various organizations and individuals involved in the British community over the last decades. Hopefully we'll be talking to its editor, who's been responsible for this over the last 2 decades, Derek Marcus. And then we'll be talking about the Freemasons. The Freemasons, or the Masons, as they're known, consist of fraternal organizations that trace their origins back to the original fraternities of the stonemasons from the end of the 14th century, and their origin started in England, where the first Grand Lodge was created, based in London, and then they spread and grew throughout the world with the growth of the British Empire. And estimated now that there's as many as 6 million members, and we'll be talking to talking to Malcolm Curtis about the Masons. St. Paul's School. St. Paul's School was founded in 1926 as a world-class school in Brazil, and the first in South American school to be recognized by the UK government as a British school overseas. It's currently around 1,000 pupils between 3 and 18 years old, and we'll be talking to the headmistress, Mrs. Simpson. The St. Andrew's Society. St. Andrew's Society was founded in 1924, promotes Scottish traditions, culture, and heritage in São Paulo. They host golf tournaments, dance practices by our Scottish Country Dancing Club, a celebratory to remember Robbie Burns, as well as the Caledonian Ball. I guess the Caledonian Ball is probably the most famous ball for foreigners in São Paulo, at least. And then we'll be talking to the president, Rhonda Waters. The Anglican Church has its roots with the first Christian church in England and has existed separately since the 16th century. Queen Elizabeth is the supreme governor of the Church of England, with the Archbishop of Canterbury as its chief religious figure. We'll be speaking to Bishop Roger Bird, one of the principal representatives of the Church in Brazil. São Paulo Athletic Club, SPAC, was created in 1888. We basically play British sports such as cricket. One of its members, probably the most famous, is Charles Miller, who took football to Brazil and in 1895 organized the first football match at SPAC, the first official football match in Brazil. Although SPAC doesn't have a professional football team, and they do have a rugby team, and they have a very good rugby team, and we will be talking about this other great sport which is quickly growing in Brazil. Today is rugby, and who knows, it could become as famous as football has in Brazil. Next is the Royal British Legion. They were formed in 1921 after World War I to help members of the British Armed Forces, veterans and their families. They were well known for their remembrance service and the sale of puppies. The Royal British Legion looks after veterans and families, and in Brazil, we'll be talking to the president of the RBL in Brazil, Paul McMahon. And then Carajás Scouts group, they were formed in 1925 by the British community with the aim to offer a program of outdoor adventure, self-learning, service to others, and values based on the Scout Law and Promise. Scouting is the world's largest non-formal educational movement for boys and girls with over 50 million members. Carajás has played a leading role in scouting in Brazil, helping to develop responsible citizens and participate members of our communities. We'll be talking to the president, Grace Downey. São Paulo Yacht Club, finally, was founded in 1917. It's the oldest sailing club in São Paulo and is of British origin, situated on the shores of the Guarapiranga Reservoir. South of the city, the club has its own sailing school, pool, restaurant, and is open to non-members during the week. And we'll be talking to the Commodoro, Michael Downey. I guess with that, let's get started. And so, first of all, we have here so let's get started, and we're going to talk to Fundação Britânica. So we have Isabella and Ricardo. So hi, Isabella and Ricardo. How are you?
Hello, Kieran.
So if you can tell us a bit about the Fundação Britânica and what's been happening.
Sure. As you said, the Fundação Britânica has been founded by the British community in São Paulo in 1947. Initially, it had the goal to help ex-fighters from the Second World War, and a lady from the community called Helen Stacy, she donated her house in order for these people to live there. And with the years passing, these fighters, these former soldiers, became old people. And then naturally, we got to the elderly cause, which is the cause we work until now. So we work with projects for people over 60 years old. And in 2006, this house where they lived was closed. And then we started a new phase here in the Fundação Britânica. So right now, our mission is to preserve the dignity and promote the welfare of elderly individuals in a vulnerable situation. And those elderly individuals, they are not just from the British community. We have several programs that also work for the Brazilian in need as well. So seniors, if they are Brazilian, British, Japanese, Italians, we don't care, we just want to help them. So this is our new mission, and this is what we do since 2006.
That's great. And I guess in terms of can you tell us something about the manifest of the FBB?
Yeah, sure. We deeply care about retribution. We feel like these elderly people, worked so much for us, for our society, and now it's time for us to do something back for them. So our manifest is based on that. And we think that the elderly cause is a cause for all of us.
Okay. And I guess, as you said, like the FBB now, historically, it had its origins in just looking after the British community, but now it's expanded and they're looking after elderly in general. And I guess we have a lot of different programs running in that respect. Maybe if you could tell us something about the main programs.
Yeah, exactly. We have three main programs, and the three of them are open to everyone in our society who are over 60 years old. So the first one is the care program, which we call Programa Cuidar, and we help the elderly people to go to some medical appointments and to do some exams. We give them the transportation and even carers to go with them. With that, we help them to not lose the information when they go to the doctor, and then they will have all the information they need to be taken care of. Also, we have, I'm sorry, Karen.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And then we have the Conviviality Center, which is a center of activities that we have in partnership with the Cultura Inglesa in Butantã, the neighborhood here in São Paulo. And we have an average of 86 people who take activities over there, and they can spend the whole day over there doing some yoga, some dance, some English classes, and it's open for everyone. All activities are for free.
Okay, so that sounds really good. So that's like so activities open to everyone, and then you publish whenever you're going to have these hold these meetings on the website.
We have on our website the program for the month. Every month we try to change it. Sometimes we keep it for much more than 1 month. But we have some activities, and the elderly, everyone who is interested, they can go there and then apply. And if we have some places available, they can apply themselves. And
then what sort of things do you do at the center?
We have some yoga, for example, and then we have a theater workshop also. And we also have dança circular and physiotherapy.
Wow.
And dança de salão, which is a new activity. We have 40 people who are enrolled in this activity, and it's a very nice day. They have a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I think that the feedback from the participants is really good in terms of they really enjoy it, and I think it for those that are elderly, I think it really helps them to I guess reestablish themselves and I guess the get them back. I guess give them self-confidence again. And then tell us about this.
Yeah, and the last program we have is the extended program, which is a program that we help financially another public nursing service that has some elderly people who live there. So we help them financially with some money, and also we provide some transportation for these people who live there to go to the doctors also.
Okay, great. And then I guess and then I guess in terms of the I guess looking after the elderly, I guess another thing is that nowadays there's a lot more that can be done in terms of looking after the elderly. I guess applicable to everyone. In terms of, I guess there's a lot more. I mean, I was going through stuff now. It's like, I guess because we're linked to the UK, I think the UK has developed a lot. I guess is almost like a leader in terms of caring for the elderly. They've created a lot of different apps. Even here in Brazil now, you have like a concierge service that are able to look after, call up and monitor the elderly people. So I think it looks like there's a lot of things that can be done, and and whether you're interested in this or not, I think there's a lot of information that we can share in terms of what we've learned over time and how we can help people.
Yeah, and also what we believe that the elderly, they can have as much as autonomy as they can, they want to. So we try to help them to keep up with this autonomy and to keep doing the things they want. So that's why we have all these projects to help them.
Yeah, and then so I guess we went over quickly the slide. Now we'll just go back to the slide that has because I guess the way you communicate is through the website, the Fundação Britânica website. Yeah. So anyone who wants to, they can just sign up on the.
I think it was the first one. Yeah, the last one.
Yeah, just on the website.
It's here, fundaçãobritânica.org.br.
Yeah. Okay.
And our email is also there, contato@fundaçãobritânica.org.br.
Okay, that's great. So, and I guess if you just look up on the internet, just Google Fundação Britânica, I guess you find all the information and get in contact. Okay, well, I think we've got a lot of people to talk to today. So thank you very much for your time. And I guess anyone that wants to get in contact with you, have that. And there's a lot of information being sent out on a weekly basis in terms of all of the events and I guess what can be done and so forth. So I guess thank you very much for your time. I guess with that, I guess we'll move on to the next. Hopefully, I think we're just going to have to change the agenda a bit here. We have Malcolm Malcolm Curtis from the.
Thank you, Kieran.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Kieran.
Kieran.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, thanks very much, Ricardo and Isabel. So Malcolm, good afternoon. Thank you very much for coming to talk to us.
My pleasure.
So I guess you're going to tell us about the Freemasons in Brazil.
Yes. Freemasonry has always been considered speaking specifically about English, the British Freemasonry, there have been lodges in the UK since the 1800s or less. There at least written
records of
records and things like that. Then in 1717, three lodges got together, decided to make a Grand Lodge to really organize the whole thing and put resources together so that we could be stronger and help more and things like that. And of course, it started spreading all over British colonies, so practically all over the world.
Yeah.
And there are records of lodges, English lodges, that have disappeared, but that go back to the beginning of the 17th century.
Wow.
These lodges specifically, there are four of them known, they just disappeared. They stopped working, and they were English lodges, parts of the United Grand Lodge of England. Then the Grand Orient to Brazil, the main Masonic organization in Brazil, decided that we should join forces and work together. And they created a unit within the Grand Orient of Brazil that worked the same ritual we work in England, and they were permitted to work in English. Brazilian Masonry doesn't recognize other languages within the. They do today, but they didn't in those days. I'm talking about more or less around about 1920, something like that.
1920, a long time. 1820. God.
No, a bit after 1820. It was more or less 1850. We started putting our lodges into the Grand Orient of Brazil as lodges of the Grand Orient of Brazil. Worked the English way of working. Then in 1935, the Grand Master in England was a great auditors there, something Gustavo de Mendonça. There's one name in the middle there.
Okay, wrong name.
He was a great friend of the Duke of Sussex.
Right.
Who was the Grand Master, and he also worked as his secretary in England. He was the Grand Secretary of the Grand Lodge of England. He was Brazilian. If you take the territorial area today, he would be Uruguayan. In those days, Uruguay was part of Brazil, Sacramento.
So I guess a long history of being in Brazil, an extremely long history of the, I guess, the existence of the Masons. I guess, could you tell us something about how? I guess the other thing is there's a very good documentary on Netflix about the Masons in terms of
yes.
how they work.
Yes.
And
Netflix, there are 3 films, I think.
Yeah.
Basically, the celebrations of the 300th birthday of the United Kingdom, which was 2 years ago.
And maybe if you could tell us something about the concept, and if someone's listening and they're, I guess, what sort of people do you look for, do you look for in terms of joining the Masons, and what sort of things would they be doing? Maybe tell us something about that.
Okay. Basically, we're looking for people, men, of course. Females, basically, is starting to work.
Yeah.
Even in England.
Yeah.
They're recognized, but they are a separate organization. Basically, in Brazil, of the lodges that still exist, the first one was from 1870. The first lodge in São Paulo was the Lodge of Unity. We were consecrated in 1902. And the main aim of Masonry is to improve the male human being in all senses, especially directing them towards charity.
Okay.
That is one of our basic aims. Just to give you an idea, every year we have at the cathedral, we have what we call Charity Sunday. The Masons march in. We donate to the Instituto Anglican.
Okay.
This year, there's a major quite good, but as next year will be the 106th Charity Sunday, I've already told you, look guys, put your hands in your pockets. We've got to match the number of years, so it's going to be 100 now.
So basically,
2020.
so whoever's going to join the Masons, and I guess first of all they have to be male, and then they have to be interested, I guess, in charity, which is the main drive of the Masons, and then I guess that they have to, I guess, with that in mind, and they have to be thinking about as well, I guess, bettering themselves, and also to, I guess, and also obviously donation is very good as well.
Donations. It's common thought, not true, that Masons work for Masons. That is not. We help whoever needs it comes to us and improves that he needs. I've got more English numbers than local numbers, but last year the British Masonry donated. We also send money to England. We involved in that also. We sent to England donated over £5 million, including a helicopter for the London Air Transport Air Ambulance, I think they call it. Helicopter to them, and
And I see on this page you're very brave. You've given your mobile number and your email on this page as well as some other people. So I guess you're very.
Any one of them can be contacted.
Yeah, that's really great. So you got your phone number and your email, and I guess two other people's emails. So I guess and the website.
Our grandmaster was transferred to Switzerland. But it's a bit tough. And Rafael Beha is the deputy grandmaster.
Right.
He is more or less over. At the beginning, they saw a number of different organizations. It's all masonry, but we have
various different types.
Yeah, the Grand Lodge is the first 3 degrees in masonry. And you got the chapter with 9 of them, and so forth. And they all get together, and we put the money all in one kitty and help when we can. Just last week we got a message from a Mason from England, but he's Brazilian. He joined Masonry in England. Now he's in Brazil, and he's been, I think, 2 years without homeless and all that. We're helping him at the moment. An enormous number of small Brazilian organizations, especially that get offer treatment for the government.
Yeah.
And we contribute with whatever we can. And money doesn't last much.
Yes, money doesn't seem to last longer anywhere nowadays. But no, but that's great. So so I think that people have your contact and your phone number. Thank you very much for coming in and talking to us. Welcome and making yourself available. Hopefully you'll get some phone calls shortly.
I hope so. And phone calls that produce them.
Yes,
we need more members. We're growing. We're really growing. 2 years ago, we had about 350 members. We're up. I hope we get more.
Super. And is that number all throughout Brazil, or is that just here in São Paulo?
No, it's throughout Brazil. We've got lodges in Rio, Espírito Santo, Belo Horizonte, São Paulo, 6, 7, Paraná, Santa Catarina, Rio Grande do Sul, Mato Grosso.
Wow. Well spread out.
Now Brasilia.
Brazil, yes, you could say just inaugurated in Brasilia at the weekend.
Yeah, last weekend.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Welcome.
It was a pleasure having you.
Nice to be here.
Thanks very much.
I'm sorry if it wasn't, but I wasn't prepared for anything.
Yes, sorry.
I only heard about this on Monday.
Exactly. You were roped into this at the last minute.
Yeah, and I was
But thank you very much for coming and making yourself available.
You're welcome.
Thanks very much. So, I guess with that, I think that the next on our list is St. Paul's School. So hopefully we can talk to Ms. Simpson from St. Paul's School.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Where do you want me to sit?
Well, anywhere. Find yourself a seat here. Thank you very much thank you very much for joining us. And I think you're here representing St. Paul's School.
I am indeed.
For the first time, we're broadcasting this and recording it, so we can send it round afterwards to everyone. So I guess if you'd like to tell us what's been happening at St. Paul's School over the last year.
Okay. Well, it's been my absolute pleasure to continue to be the head of St. Paul's School, and I've only got 6 months left, so this is my penultimate year. Well, it's been my penultimate year. And it's been a really busy one. We had an inspection in March with the ISI, the Independent Schools Inspectorate, and we were graded as outstanding or excellent, which is the top grade in all areas. So that was quite stressful, but also a brilliant outcome. So we were very proud that our pupils did so well in that inspection.
Yes, that must be very difficult to reach that level of excellence in that sort of inspection environment.
It is, and it's an internationally recognised standard, and it's exactly the same as international schools in the UK. So it really puts us in the same category as Eton, Harrow, and the kind of schools that people will have heard of back home in the UK. So it's really reassuring for us that we're delivering the very best in education. Our kids are having such a great time, and they're doing so brilliantly in their work. Super. So that was in March. We always have a lot of children doing their IGCSEs and their IB exams. That comes in April and May every year. And this year our results were absolutely brilliant, and of course those lead to fantastic university results. And we're very proud our children do so well. They, again, internationally recognised examinations. They do really brilliantly, and this year we had children going off to all kinds of parts of the world for their university and entrance afterwards. So we're very, very proud. Really well. They work really hard, and they deserve the grades that they've achieved. So very proud.
Very good. And then, but I guess the other thing is, I guess the school, although it's a British school, the children, they end up going to universities all over the world. So even though it's like a British school, that the education that's provided to them means that they can go to the US or to...
Absolutely. The US is actually one of the most popular destinations. Our children really look north, and so they go to Ivy League universities regularly. We also have a good number who go to the UK and Europe and Canada as well. So there's a good, and this year we actually had one going to South Africa. That's the first South African that I'm aware of for some time. So yeah, they're pretty globally minded, our kids, and of course the IB helps them to go wherever they want to go.
Very good.
Okay. We've also been awarded the Apple Distinguished Award this year, which we're very proud of. Over the last few years, we've invested a lot in our digital learning and our ICT infrastructure. Last year, we were awarded the Microsoft Showcase School Award, and this year the Apple Distinguished School Award, which is a recognition of not just having lots of bits of kit, which we do have, but that's not what it's about. It's about innovation and technology and the way that that's used in teaching and learning. And I believe we're the first school in São Paulo to be an Apple Distinguished School, and we're certainly one of very few in South America that are both Microsoft Showcase and Apple Distinguished Award schools.
And I guess technology is something that's, I guess, going to be a recurring theme in terms of education and how best to use it, and how to, I guess, and how to be careful in terms of how you use it as well.
Absolutely. It's a teaching and learning tool. It's also an administrative tool. It's a communication tool. And we want to embrace it, but obviously we need to be a little bit careful as well. We've actually banned mobile phones in school in the last 2 years, and that's, ironically, we're busy doing all kinds of technology in the classroom, but we're saying you don't need your mobile phones. You've got these other devices, and we want you to be with your heads in your screens. We want you to be communicating, talking to your people, your friends, and your peers. So we've really changed our approach there.
Yeah, I guess there's so much information available now in terms of with technology and so forth, and I guess if you don't have a focus in terms of how you're going to use it, then you can get lost very easily.
Absolutely, and our digital team are really fantastic at that. The pupils that you can see there are actually our digital leaders. They help us to improve our digital technology from their point of view, so we have a sort of a client relationship with them, and they really help us to try out new apps, have a look at what might be the new innovation, what might work well in the classroom, and evaluate their work. So we're very proud. There's still a long way to go. We're not there yet. I don't think there's always more to do, but we're very proud that we've got that milestone on the journey there. And we spent again a year of transforming our learning environment. These images are from the pre-prep. Over the last 18 months, we've completely refurbished our pre-prep school, and it is absolutely spectacular. And I encourage anyone who's interested to come along and have a look at the school and see not just how fabulous the spaces are, but what an impact it has on the learning. Children are totally engaged. It's very play-based, very child-centric, and it also really encourages collaboration between our teachers. That's a really important part of our provision. Our next aim is to do our prep school. That's the meat in the sandwich, if you like. It's the middle floor of the school, and that's going to be started in about a year's time. So that will be the next big project. school.
And then how long is that likely to last?
Oh, good question. It's technically very challenging to do because it's in the middle of the school,
okay.
and so we can only do the work in the holidays. So I think it will take at least 18 months, possibly 2 years to complete the project. So starting December 2020, possibly going on until January 2022, maybe even later. I don't know. That's someone else's worry, not mine. But I'm sure it will be absolutely fantastic. And on the next slide, you can actually see some other changes that have happened recently. We've invested in our theatre. We've invested more in our library, our learning resources centre, which is a fantastic space. And if you come as a visitor to our school, that's the first place you arrive, and you see this wonderful space.
And I guess and the school is open to visitors. Whoever wants to come, just ring up.
And when we do have open days specifically. Those are really geared towards our admissions process. So if people are interested in enrolling their child, we actually require them to come to an admissions day as part of that process, and we have one of those every month. But obviously, we're always very happy to see visitors, particularly if they've got a particular connection with the British community, if they're former old Paulians, people who are members of the organisations that are supported by the British community. Then we'd love to see them. We're very happy to have our extended community there, seeing what we do and having a cup of tea and just seeing the places.
And I think just recently as well, there was a meeting of the old Paulians at the school as well, just recently. So I guess there's a network of old Paulians.
There is, absolutely. And our old Paulians are a really important part of our extended school community. We have a significant number of teachers who are old Paulians and other members of staff. And we also have a significant number of parents who are old Paulians. And so we do have a multi-generational community of Lions, as we call them, old and new, and we want them to contribute. We want them to be part of what the school does. We have a scholarship foundation where we've been raising money. We talked about that last year, actually, at the presentation. That's been launched this year. It's been extremely successful, and we really encourage members of the extended community to support that and to provide.
I guess in terms of the foundation, what sort of people are you looking for in terms of candidates? Are you looking for
candidates for the foundation? We're looking for young people who are bright, who are really able, who would not otherwise be able to access our education, so financially not in the income group that would normally pay our school fees, but who would benefit from it. And they need to be sort of over the age of 10 when they first contact us. And we actually have a website that we've set up for the foundation, so potential can find out a little bit more and make an application. I'll talk about that a little bit more later, but there's opportunities to get involved as a candidate as well as possibly as a donor or a sponsor. We've had two big new programs, if you like, in the school, which are related to our approach to teaching and learning and also pastoral care. The first one is We Care, and this is something that we're very proud of. We've really tried to put the pupils' mental health and well-being at the centre of our stage at school. It's always been important, but we've never been very explicit about it, and We Care is a programme which is making more explicit the kind of behaviours and interactions that we want our children and our adults in school to do. So it applies to staff in just the same way it applies to our pupils. And then after that, we also have the next one is our Lion Learning, which is our new way of again making explicit the kinds of approaches and attitudes to learning that we want our children to have in the classroom. This is based on Guy Claxton's work on learning attitudes and building learning power, and we've written this specifically for Paulians. It's a whole school programme. It's been launched across from 3 to 18, and we're trying to get children to not think, academically am I good, but how can I be a better learner by adopting these 4 attitudes approaches. We hope that they'll be able to
be the best they can be.
Exactly, to fulfil their potential. I mean, that's what the school has always been about. And again, we're trying to be a little bit more explicit about how they can do that and how we can support them, making sure that they're the very best version of themselves. learning. And then moving on to the scholarship. So the foundation, we have 2 candidates now. They joined the school in August, so we're very excited that we have our 2 fabulous candidates. They're both brilliant. They've integrated really quickly. They've made friends. They've got involved. They're doing their Duke Members Awards, their MUN, all the activities that are on offer. They've really thrown themselves in, and they've made a really positive start. And so just now, just after Christmas, we'll be opening the program for applying for next year's foundation, next year's scholarship program. And we're looking for candidates out there that fulfil those criteria. They need to have some English. That's really important. And we're looking for applicants. Alongside that, in the middle, we've got 8 candidates who are currently preparing and hoping to be scholarship winners for 2021. Okay. Sorry, 2020, next year. And at the moment, they're being supported by Cultura. They've been fantastic. They've sponsored, the Cultura Inglés has sponsored English lessons for 1 term for those candidates. Then they're doing a school of master classes, which is run by our own teaching range.
That's great. So that there's so the thing is that the person needs a basic English, let's say, but they're going to get lessons from Cultura Inglés to help them, and then there's master classes from the school.
Absolutely. So what we're looking for is potential. And obviously, the younger the children are, the less important English is. Our 2 candidates that joined us as scholars this year are both 15, and they've gone into the first year of Ensino Médio. So they will have 3 years at the school. But obviously, younger candidates, the English is less important. We can grow that English. Important is their and their potential, and that's what we're trying to measure in this candidate. We're very excited about seeing, hopefully, thousands of applications this year. We think there's going to be lots, and we really want people to come forward, and anyone who's interested in the British Society and would like to encourage people that they know who they think would be good candidates, we encourage them to come forward and to put them forward so that we can. Super. Okay. Next one is our conference. So every 2 years we run a conference, and this year is going to be no different. 2020 we have our conference, which is going to be in March. It's going to be looking at creative learning, and we've got 4 or 5 keynote speakers coming from all over the world to come and talk about things as diverse as AI, language learning, creativity, music in learning. We've got a whole range of different speakers. It's going to be very exciting. It's open for anyone who's interested. You don't have to be a teacher. You don't have to be a member of the school to be involved. We usually have about 400 delegates. We encourage people to come along, and we do provide simultaneous translation. If you're not a confident English speaker, you can still access the keynote speaker.
It's open to everybody who wants to.
Anyone who wants to register. We have a website. We encourage you to sign up on the website and come along and get involved and find out what we're all about.
So anyone interested in teaching and interested in education in general should be
I think particularly if they're interested in international education. But as I say, the range of topics that we're looking at very broad, very wide, a whole range of different backgrounds. There'll be people there from Brazilian public schools, there'll be people there from bilingual schools, there'll be people there from schools, and there'll be people there from outside Brazil who are coming as delegates.
Okay, super.
So very exciting. And the next one is the big news about who's going to be me next year. There's the new me. And Titus Edge is going to be the new head of St. Paul's from August 2020. Titus is very well known to the British community because his wife, Marina, is an old Paulian and a member of the Ford family. So there is a connection there already with São Paulo. And we're very excited about Titus joining us. He's currently the head of Gordonston School in Scotland, so he's leaving desolate mountainsides to live in the city. To live in the big city. So it's going to be a big change for him and his family, but they're very excited about joining in the school and being part of the next phase of the St. Paul's journey. He's got 2 sons and a daughter, and the sons will be joining us. And his daughter will be staying at Fundação, as far as we are aware anyway. 2 boys will be coming to school. Very excited about getting to know them and welcoming them to be lions themselves, just like their mum. So it's pretty lovely. And finally, just a little message about the British community. Every year we have a lot of interaction with the British community. We have many of our pupils who are involved in community service programs with the British community. Only yesterday, members of the British community were in our learning resources centre drinking tea and stealing our mugs with our shield on.
Very valuable, I think, mugs.
And it was our pupils who were hosting them and entertaining them. It was absolutely lovely to have a chance to welcome them and include them in that. But there are plenty of other things as well. That image is from our International Day, and we have a very strong International Day with a very strong British presence, it was even raining, just like a British face, and it felt wonderful. We had a coconut shy and guessed the way to the cake and all of that stuff, proper British stuff, and it was great fun. So we're very happy to be involved.
And there again, the International Day is open to anyone who wants to come, and it's like everybody comes to the International Day.
Absolutely, and it's in June. This year, I think it's the 6th of June. Check our website. The details will be on our school website, and it's open to our own community. We do have plenty of parents and members of the community that come along, but it's also open to the external community. We encourage people to come and see what we're about, meet our pupils, meet our parents, and see just how strong the community at St. Paul's really is. And I'm going to miss it very much.
Well, I guess we miss you too. I guess with that, thank you very much, Ms. Simpson, for coming and talking to us.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Kieran.
Okay.
It's been great to talk to you. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Now we have joining us Derek Marcus. Derek, how are you doing? Yeah, here, have a seat here. Yep, sorry. Have a seat here. Oh, don't worry. So Derek, so tell us something about Spotlight. So you've been the editor of Spotlight now for
almost 2 decades.
2 decades.
2 decades. Spotlight is the name of the community newsletter, which has been produced every 2 months, and it's been in existence for almost over 50 years in one form or another. It's been, until the aspect of internet, it was the only means of communication between the British Society or the British Commonwealth Community Society, it was known in those days, with the community itself.
Well, it's been around for like 50 years.
Well, or probably more. It's it lets the community know what's happening within the umbrella of the British Society. For example, the annual general meeting, it'll tell the readers who are the new people running the organizations, who are the trustees, who are the board members, and so on of the various councils. Spotlight covers events such as the Queen's birthday party.
I guess maybe just the Queen's birthday party, I guess, is one of the big events for the British community in the year.
I would say it's probably the main event organized by the British Society. And looking back over the 20 years of Spotlight, looking at the photographs, it's almost a who's who of the British community. It also, under the British Society headline, an important reminder of the serious work being done on welfare to help the people who need help in the community.
No, that's fine. That's fine. And I guess maybe if you can tell us something about some of the, I guess over these 2 decades, I guess you've seen a lot, and there's been a lot of stories about the British community.
We've had some fantastic stories. We've managed to interview people who were survivors of the Second World War, and I managed to get them to write sort of semi-memoirs, and that was they're really heroic. I also got people in the community to write short stories of their childhood in the early 1900s, and it gives an incredible background into how life was here in São Paulo at the beginning of the 1900s, about 20,000.
Yeah, I guess it's been, being around for 50 years and I guess covering all of the major, British community events over that time. So it's real it's an encyclopedia of the British in São Paulo.
We've done the history of São Paulo Athletic Club, and then I managed to get articles on international rugby with the players from local hockey, cricket, football, which is very interesting. And looked up the old theatre, the Green Room Theatre, and the readers love to see their old pictures of the artists and actresses from that time.
Gosh, and I guess in this process, so you got to interview a lot of people and
we those that we could interview, we interviewed, and those that we didn't interview, they sent in their articles. Some of them sent in their articles in serial form, so I always got their whole life story over a period of 1 year.
And then would you publish would you publish it in pieces?
Yeah, I would publish it every 2 months. There'd be an article, and some of these people actually published their own book after that.
Well, so because you were giving you articles and telling you about their life, and then they went on as a result of that, then to write a book about it.
Part of them, yes. Very interesting. We were also lucky during this period. We had an incredibly good book reviewer, Rosemary Dow, and she supplied us with articles on books that you should be reading, which everybody was really liked. We had a cultural article every month. We had health and fitness articles, mental and physical, every month, even now.
Yeah, I guess, and especially for those people who are, age comes to us all, and over time the age creeps up on you, and it's interesting to constantly read the health articles and to be aware as what can be done, especially for the as you get on, once you get over 60, there's a lot of things you need to take care of.
Even younger than 60, yeah. we try to marry the mental and physical health articles together. The two writers, Phoebe Freeland and Dr. Michael Smith, we try to get their articles lined up together. So that still happens.
Very good. I guess there's the main focus of Spotlight was as community magazine to look after people in the community and to tell people about the events that are going on.
Not only that, we had an objective which is more than that. We wanted to, let me try and put it, the important objective was an ongoing attempt to protect and reflect on the history of activities and values of, for the use of a lack of word, the Britishness, in the wideness sense of the word.
Yeah, I guess this is another thing that you use this word British, but it's a very broad concept.
It was wider than just England, Scotland. It included the whole of the old-fashioned British Isles, which include Ireland. And I had Irish articles at the beginning of the Spotlight every month also. Irish and Welsh.
Very good.
So I say that we looked up the history and we tried to to remind people of what is our organization about. It's about Britishness. And I go back on the widest point of view of that
concept. Yeah, I guess whenever you're living in the UK, it's one thing, and whenever you're living in Brazil, the concept of Britishness is much broader than you'd imagine.
And you can be Irish and be British as well.
Yeah, and I guess there's a lot of things about the culture that you end up importing as a result.
And if we don't do it, who else is going to? And that was one of our key objectives. And short stories that we got from people that emphasize that. For example, we had short stories on the Great West Railway up in the north of Brazil, which reflected the Britishness, the railways that were put in, by the various railways in the early 1900s.
Yeah, I guess the British were key in the railroads. I think the first railroad company was a British company, and they were actually it was the railroad team that took part in actually the first soccer match. I think it was between the railroad team and the gas company.
Yes. And this was all related eventually back to SPAC.
Yeah, exactly.
Back to SPAC. We covered all the Spotlight also covers all the other activities like St. Andrews, the Scouts, the church, English-speaking union, SPIC, St. Paul's Cathedral, who was a regular supplier for us.
Yeah, I guess, and I guess we're talking to most of these organizations today, but yeah.
Looking back on my files over the last 20 years, I have a bound written history of all the principal activities of the community. And I feel we don't want to lose that. We don't have a written version of Spotlight. Obviously, the internet is here to stay, but I feel the written version stays on the table.
Yeah, and I guess as you say, like there's a huge amount of history in this written Spotlight over the last like 5 decades.
And as I said, if you go back, you'll be amazed. You have every activity of that 2 months that was happening in the community: deaths, marriages, the births.
Very good. And what about 2019?
2019 was a continuation of all these activities. At the moment, we have competition from the internet, and it all comes down to a question of cost. But as I say, costs in relation to what do our readers really want.
Yeah, I guess there's been a number of discussions about the format and how like Spotlight should operate in the past, and I guess there's going to be another discussion about how it's going to operate in the future.
I always feel if we had an integrated task force, we could get the money to cover the Spotlight.
I guess, and there you're talking about that with printing costs. Obviously, the thing is, I guess internet's made things very cheap now, and the issue is you want to produce a written magazine, and then a written magazine has a cost, and actually your competition is the internet, because there's a lot of information available on the internet, so it has to stand out, and
our objective was to request people pay a contribution, which would reduce the strain on the welfare fund. So everything that you contribute, be 1 cent less coming out of the welfare fund. And we got almost 50% of total cost. And I think with a bigger push, we can get the rest.
Hopefully so. Okay, Derek, thank you very much for coming and telling us a bit of the history of Spotlight. And I see brought a version with you. Gosh, that's a very wow. What this
is to show how it changed over the years.
Wow, this is a very
I go back to 2003.
Yeah, gosh. Yeah, I guess we're starting to see the different versions of Spotlight and how it's changed over the years in terms of different format and so forth, and the color. But that's great. Thank you very much, Derek, for talking to us, and so hopefully you'll stay here for through the AGM, which is going to have at 7:00. So we're just going to continue here.
Sure.
Yes, so all of this is being recorded, and it'll be available. Yes. Don't worry. Sir, yes, help yourself to some chocolate. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Derek. So, I guess with that we're actually on time, amazingly. So just joining us now is Rhonda Waters. Rhonda, thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Is that a Scottish accent?
No, it's like yours. It's the very Scotch Northern Irish accent.
Yes, exactly. How close you can get. So, so we have on the screen here that the website of St Andrew's Society, and maybe if you can tell us a little bit about the St Andrew's Society and what's been going on this year.
Well, we've just actually held our 95th Caledonian Ball. It is the 95th anniversary of the St Andrew's Society, and this year we decided to go all out and host our 95th anniversary at the Hippicapolis, which has a shared history to the society. And it was an amazing event. We had about 255 attendees, I think a record. And a fun time was had by all. As with all these events, we are very reliant on our sponsors, and Cultura Inglesa has been a long-time supporter of the St Andrew's Society, and we are very fortunate also to have Fairtech and BP as sponsors this year. We were also celebrating the São Paulo Pipes and Drums 10th anniversary. The St Andrew's Society events are made even more special by the presence of our own pipe band. And we had invited Graham Drummond, a world champion piper, and he is also part of the 12-time world champion Field Marshal Montgomery pipe band, also from Northern Ireland. And Graham presented the band with a very special trophy from Field Marshal Montgomery to the São Paulo pipe band to celebrate their 10th anniversary.
Very good. I guess the Caledonian Ball is probably like the social event of the year for foreigners in São Paulo.
Yeah.
I did like and although the pictures here have a lot of people in kilts, I mean there are people like myself that show up in a black tie.
Well, it's a black tie event, but it's actually the longest running charity event in São Paulo. Wow. So as it is the longest running charity event in the world with the Royal Caledonian in the UK, in London, which started in 1849. So we are following on that Scotch tradition of charitable giving, although the Scots are not famous for being generous.
I wasn't going to mention that.
They're not famed for their generosity, but they are very charitable. But it was a particularly special moment to see that trophy being given over to the São Paulo Pipes and Drums, and I know they really appreciated that gesture from the world champions to our São Paulo Pipes. This year we didn't have our annual Ceilidh in August, but rather we decided to have a series of free Caledonian events, and we partnered up with Macallan Whiskey, one of the best whiskies in the world, if not the best. And we had several whiskey tastings, and for one of those we partnered with the American Society.
And I guess the other thing is, I guess for those people who may be a bit daunted by the Scottish dancing and so forth, I mean, the dancing comes along at a lot of these events. I think if someone wants to get involved, I think it's best, you can come and warm up and get to know.
We have dance practices, although I have to say, after a whiskey, most people feel they are semi-professional and they are prepared to give it a go. And that's all that's required. If you want to come along to one of our events, you don't need to Scottish dance. You don't even have to be a lover of whiskey. You just love having a good time, and that's what we offer.
Exactly. Well, and I think I've been to a number of these events, and I've tried a number of these dances. I cannot say that I danced them correctly, but I can't say that I had a good time.
Yeah, but that's it. No one asks for perfection or even good. It's just about coming along and having fun. And then this year, we've actually finally managed to put a new website together detailing the history of the St Andrew's Society. A lot of the historical work had actually been done by Eileen Wallace. So it was great to finally be able to upload a lot of the work she had done. And it details the start of the society, the traditions, the committees, our coat of arms, our very own St Andrew's tartan. And I have to say, I have to thank Malcolm MacDonald because the amount of work he put into putting this together. The website details the society's history over the last 95 years and its 78 presidents. The list of the presidents and their family names are exceptionally well known in the British community.
Exactly, and I was looking at it, there's an amazing amount of information on the website now. I mean, I was just daunted by when I started looking through this, like it's just an amazing amount of information. And as you say, a lot of these people are very well known in the British community, and you just go through there, and for each one of them, there's a history about each one of these people.
Well, it's not just a history of the president. Sometimes a little bit of history of the family themselves. I mean, it's the Fords, Monroes, Wallace, Kerrs, Steeles, Duncans, Barnes, Cooks, Pritchards, and McDonalds, and that's just a few of them. Only 2 female presidents, Christiana Tess and myself.
Congratulations. And hopefully we'll have more in the future.
Oh, absolutely. And also we have so on the slide there, you can see each of the presidents dating back to 1924 with Thomas Moore, Robert Reid, and the list goes on and on. But yeah, anyone who's interested should go on there, click. If the information is not right, please let us know, or if you would like to add a bit more, we are more than happy to do so. So it has to be interactive piece of information. It also has to be correct, but also it has to keep updated. So anything people would like to add, just please send it to us, and we'd be more than happy to do. We also have the most amazing memory bank, which dates back to 1900s. Wow. And it's actually a shared history of the society and of São Paulo. There's pictures of first flights out of Congonhas and people queuing up on the airstrip to board the plane, and the Burns night dating back to 1929. So, please feel free to go through the memory bank photos. You'll never know which family members you may discover. And then what brings me on to our next event will be our traditional Burns supper, which is the traditional format of dinner, few speeches, usually funny.
Yes, exactly.
Or hopefully funny.
Yes.
And again, some Scottish dancing. And it's a lot of fun. Our tickets will go on sale over the next few weeks. And we're actually planning a pre-Burns event of a quiz night in this very building. So, and we'll probably be having that at the beginning of February.
Great. So, and I guess, and all of the profits from this, all of the proceeds go to charity. So it's a great time, and also knowing the money goes to charity makes it better.
Absolutely. And we help. All our charities are children's charities, so after our running costs, all money goes to charity. And we also have our St Andrew's Golf side as well, society, which is organised by John McNaughton. And we have a series of golf events over the year, including the Quaich, the Mackenzie Trophy, and the Munro Cup, just to name a few. So if you want to get involved in golf, and it's very good humoured and lots of fun.
And there again, I don't believe you have to be a professional golfer to take part.
No, definitely not.
And probably if you are a professional golfer, it's probably not the place for you.
Well, we can team up depending on the
even about in the team event.
Yeah. So, but it's great to see renewed interest in our events, and also partnering up with other societies. So we've partnered with the American Society, International Newcomers. So it's just getting the awareness out there of these events and bringing new people in. And we're pretty much guaranteed if they come once, they're coming back.
Yeah, super. But thank you very much, Rhonda.
You're more than welcome.
It's great.
Hope to see you at Burn.
Maybe
Maybe I can get you signed up for.
Maybe you can so, but you won't get me signed up for a kilt at this stage.
Maybe true. Thank you so much, Kieran.
Okay, thanks very much. I guess with that, I guess next we're going to talk about the Anglicans, and thank you very much for coming.
Welcome,
Mr. Roger.
I certainly hope that everyone who's listening will learn something.
Yeah, exactly. First of all, it's great to have you here and to have the Anglican Church. And I guess in terms of the Anglican Church, I guess from the start of the British community in São Paulo was always like a key element in bringing the community together.
Very much so. The relationship between St. Paul's Anglican Church and the British community here in Brazil has extended more than 150 years. Actually, the foundation of this relationship occurred in 1810. Napoleon was on the brink of invading Portugal, and the Portuguese royal family decided to flee Portugal and Brazil. For safety precautions, they appealed to England for the Royal British Navy to escort them across the sea to Brazil. This permission was granted, and the Royal British Navy escorted them safely across. The royal family obviously was very grateful for this protection, and they made a commercial treaty with Britain, opening Brazil to British commerce. And interesting enough, one of the clauses in this treaty was the condition that the British expatriates working here in Brazil could worship God in English and according to their rites, because up to that point, only the Roman Catholic Church could operate in Brazil. And the first St. Paul's Church was built by the British community downtown, close to the Luz train station, which was being built by the São Paulo Railways, British engineers there. And this church was consecrated on the 23rd of November, 1873. And service in English were held there nearly 90 years. However, as São Paulo grew, the area around the church fell into decline, and the community moved away. Archbishop D.J. Townsend, OBE, was the rector of the church at that time, and he embarked on a very ambitious project of moving the church from its downtown to its present site in Alto da Boa Vista, Santo Amaro. Thanks to the British community and companies, money was raised to build this beautiful temple. The cornerstone was laid on the 24th of November, 1963. 3.5 years later, the building was consecrated by the Right Reverend G.T. Tucker on the 13th of May, 1967. The church continued to be the Igreja dos Ingleses, English church, for many years with imported English priests. But with the diminishing of the British community, it soon became obvious that things would have to change. Padre Glauco Soares de Lima, a Brazilian priest, became the first rector of church. Spoke quite good English. Then, when he was elected bishop, I, a newly ordained priest, took over this post as rector of the church, until I also became elected bishop. However, in the mid-90s, the Church Council came to the conclusion that unless something drastic was done, the church would have to close its doors, lack of financial resources, about 10 years. They took the decision to open the church to having services in Portuguese. And Reverend Aldo Quintão was engaged to develop a Brazilian community. He did a fantastic job. And now we have 3 services every Sunday in Portuguese with over 2,000 people.
Well, 2,000 people?
It's a lot.
Lot, exactly.
And we still have 1 service in English with at 10 o'clock in the morning, maybe 50 people, or on a good day, 100 people coming. All the services actually are recorded and can be viewed at any time on the TV Anglican. So you can go into any service just going into the site.
Just go into the website that we showed here, so that the Anglican Cathedral website, and you just go on to the website and you can find there the access to all of the recordings.
No. Okay.
Yeah, that's the website, like www.cathedral-anglicana.org.
Oh, that's it.
.br.
Yeah. Okay. Go to the next. Obviously, as a church, our chief concern is to worship and glorify God. And this is enhanced thanks to the dedication of our choir, which not only leads the singing in our services, but offers us inspiring anthems, special occasions such as Christmas Day, Mothering Sunday service. We honor our mothers by placing a flower on a floral cross, Easter Sunday, Sunday, and other festive occasions.
I guess Remembrance Sunday is one of, the key dates and key events in the British community.
It is, yes. Yeah, each year the numbers actually are improving more and more. This year we had over people present. A big service. Another traditional and moving service is obviously the Remembrance Sunday, when we remember those from our community who fell during the 2 World Wars.
And I guess it's interesting that there's now a couple of films about this. The First World War, this film, we will not forget them, and there's a Second World War film as well. And it's very interesting, I guess, for those who don't realize what the Remembrance Service is about. Yeah, I'd recommend looking at these films, because, especially the First World War, told by people who were all veterans and who were all involved in telling how how it was actually, and what, you know, when you hear it firsthand, it's very striking memories of these veterans.
Yes, I think last year we celebrated the centenary of the end of the First World War. You might say, why do we remember this? What will the children think about it? But the importance is actually for the children to realize that we had this peace. We have what we have today thanks to the efforts of those people who died, fought in that war.
It was a very heavy cost to the UK. That war was like, a lot of people died in both wars, and it was a very heavy cost to all sides involved.
But to all sides, yes. I mean, you can't say that the cost for the Germans was as bad as the cost for the British. And the French, of course, really suffered too. The cathedral also offers several Christian education programs, principally in Portuguese. Here we have the Alpha course. The Alpha course has attracted nearly 2,000 participants here in São Paulo during the last 10 years. See the opening of the course directed by Mr. Michael Moran. Other courses include the Anglican Matrimony Encounter, which looks at the spiritual side of marriage, the Concilio movement for adults and for children, when we look at the various aspects of the Christian faith. And then we have preparation classes for First Communion for children. It is very popular. The social and charitable arm of the cathedral is what we call the Instituto Anglicano. This year, in partnership with the Cultura Inglesa, the second wing of the creche was inaugurated and doubled the capacity of the creche in Morenby, bringing the total number of children in the creche to over 1,000.
This is an amazing number. I mean, people have told me this number before, and I have a difficulty trying to imagine 1,000 children in the same place.
Yeah. It is big, it's spacious, it's very well organized, and obviously places for babies, for young children, and only going up to 5 years old. After that, they have to start school. And at the same time, the school for teaching English is run by the Cultura Inglesa, was also inaugurated there and completed on the same ground. So we have the creche and we have the school. And this school, run by the Cultura Inglesa, is free for poor people. A fantastic job.
Yeah, it's a really amazing project that was created for that.
They did. And yes. Back to the, obviously, life at the cathedral is not all worshipping, work, and no play. Here we have the Festa Junina, which is very popular, and nearly 10,000 people came here to participate. In August, we held the popular pet show, where pets are given a special blessing. And then on the 30th of November, we had Christmas Bazaar. On this coming Sunday, at 6:30 in the evening, we'll be holding a bilingual Christingle service, which tells the Christmas story through reading carols. On the screen you can see a Christingle, which consists of an orange representing the world, its cup, the light of the world, candle representing Christ, raisins and sweets, which represent the fruits of the earth and God's gift to us, and the red ribbon is to remind us the incarnation, passion of Jesus. Want to get a foretaste of Christmas? Come next Sunday at 6:30.
Yes, that should be on the agendas of everyone listening.
And of course, we're getting ready for Christmas. And Christmas is upon us. We're planning several services to celebrate the birth of our Lord. Other than the Christingle service, we'll be having a service of lessons and carols, very popular in England, very popular here too, on Sunday the 22nd at 10 o'clock. And then on Christmas Day, Wednesday the 25th, we'll have our Christmas. So, I wish you a blessed Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thank you very much, Bishop Roger. It was a pleasure having you. So I think next, next with that, I think we're going to talk to SPAC Rugby.
How are you doing?
Hi. Come join us. So we're going to tell us a little bit about rugby and SPAC and what's happening.
Yes, so nice to meet you all here tonight, this afternoon. So we're going to tell you about what is happening in SPAC Rugby this last year. So we have many different projects. We're really developing new concepts in our team. So the first thing that we're going to talk is about the new governance that we start to have, especially in the rugby. So I have been elected president of the rugby since June. And since then, we start to have a group of people, 15 people that as a councilor members, and divided in 6 directors. So we have one person focused in to be the marketing director, another one focusing to be the lawyer director, the other one on the finance. So we're really doing a structure to really have a more professionalized structure for the governance of the rugby.
And rugby seems to be really taking off. I mean, it seems to be a lot of people seem to be interested in it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good values associated with it.
Yeah. Rugby for us is a thing that we believe really that's part of can help a lot in the education of the kids, because we have our values that is really to work together, to respect the next one. So always when you play, we're gonna talk with the referee. Just the captain can talk with the referee and really polite way. It's just come, please sir, I'd like to know what's happening there. So there's no when we watch football, just people just come to the referee and start to argue. For us, kind of, what are you doing? This is not possible. This is not
exactly. And the thing is, you see the discussions on soccer, and people normally are hurt. They're normally talking about somebody pushed them or something, and
exactly.
in rugby
for
people
us it's impossible.
Exactly.
There's a yellow card immediately.
Exactly.
Thing that doesn't exist.
And in rugby, people, it's a very disciplined sport. And I guess that's one of the things that it brings.
Because we believe too that everyone makes wrong things. Mistakes. So we do mistakes as a player. So why the referee cannot do their mistakes too? It's normal. It's a human thing. So everyone has this chance to be, to make their mistakes, and you really need to understand because everyone does. So this is the thing that. So we see people supporting together. Don't have this kind of thing that we split the supporters. And also, a thing that for us is very different in rugby that to really enjoy it is the third half. So that we finish the game, so we shake hands, we go to have a beer together, eat together, and talk about the game. So it's a thing that we make more friends than, everywhere that I go to play, I meet people and I have lots of friends, so I have plenty of friends from many different clubs.
But and I guess that that's I guess an interesting thing about rugby, as you say, is this third half that after the game, you shake hands, you hug everyone, regardless as to what happened on the field.
But the field was really tough. It was really lots of contact, like you smashing people, or like stepping in some. But at the end, you just smile and say, "Oh, thank you," and congratulations for the match. And also, if the guy, for example, he did me like a good tackle, I came to him and say, "Oh, you did really a good tackle." You know, like we have this points to really to say, you know, the truth and say that, and compliments that, wow, this is the game, you know, like, so we really want to do a good game, and we need like the opposite. And
exactly, and I can't imagine like two soccer teams having beer afterwards.
I can't imagine that. Like, so I think that for me it's kind of two now, perhaps before, like those times, you know, like it was different, but nowadays I think it's kind of, for me, it's kind of thing that like I can't imagine this. Yeah, it's for me it's sad, you know, but it should be different.
Exactly, and there's a lot of, there's a lot of discipline, and I guess if you could tell us a bit about the sport and what's happened, and let's see what's been happening during the year.
Yeah, so this year what happened, like we have this structure that the governance structure that I was telling you. Yeah. So, and what we want of this is really to increase our number of athletes, because we have been last 3 years have been like going downsizing of our number of athletes for many different reasons. So the cost of the club was too high, and like we have many players that went to play to other clubs that they start to have been be paid to play for these other clubs. So we start to have less and less players. But now we have a new program, have a new cost for everyone so to play. So now our objective is really to increase our number of players. We are focused really in the youth. So we're doing all this. Well, one of the programs that I'm going to talk later, that's back in the school. So we are going to, we start to play it, say already, but like we're going to the school, in the schools around the club, and we're really like in publics and private schools, you know, have like a professional that is paid for this, you know, like he's just doing this, he's full dedicated in this mission, to go to the schools and train the teachers to implement like rugby in the school.
I guess especially for the international schools. I mean, if the children are going to go, if they're going to go abroad, I mean, if they're going to go to England, I mean, there's a lot of rugby is a very big sport in a lot of countries, in a lot of English-speaking countries.
Yeah. Rugby in the world is the third. When we have like the World Rugby World Cup, it's the third event in the world, like after the soccer and then the Olympics, that has more people watching TV in the world. Like, so it's the really big event. And outside Brazil is growing. Like I remember when I started to play when it was in '89. Perhaps I had a kind of 10, 15 clubs, just more in São Paulo, some in Rio, some in the south. But now we have in total Brazil like 300 clubs. Not really clubs. Some is just people that play rugby together. But at least we have rugby in all the states in Brazil. So it's really increasing a lot, and the national team too, they're increasing. So they start to play and beat like some national teams as U.S. or Portugal and things that you never fought before that you're going to be possible.
Even had like the All Black.
Last year had the Maori, last year the Morumbi, and we had like 35,000 people watching it. So it was amazing, because we never fought this in Brazil. Like, first, rugby being played in a stadium. Wow, this is kind of now with TV. It's impossible. Now, like having Morumbi, 35,000 people. This year we have the Barbarians playing again in Morumbi too. It was less people, but that even though like it was really, really nice event. So, and more rugby is increasing, and I start to know when sometimes we're in the streets and we talk about, I play rugby. Oh, I know. At least people heard about it, you know? Because before it was kind of, what? Handball? I don't know. Exactly. So now it's really people, I heard I have a friend that play, or like, so it's really a thing that starts to be, and I think that is very interesting too. So, in SPAC, we are doing this job, like the SPAC in the schools, around the schools, around the club. So we're bringing people to the club, but also have like in the communities, for example, Paraisópolis in São Paulo, we have a project there that the guys, they have like 300 kids playing rugby there. And they have already a men's team like playing the third, fourth division, I think. And the girls, some of them already in the national team. So they're really increasing a lot, and have another project in the south of São Paulo with UHA, that's another ONG too. that they are in all public schools too. So it's more and more getting popular. It's really nice. This is nice to see how rugby is increasing, and also how its values are changing the life of people.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing. It's a sport, but there's a lot of benefits that come with it.
Exactly. So, for example, another day I was really happy, because a mother came to me, and she was kind of people that could not really afford to play, their kids to pay, and it was not so much, the amount is not so high. But even though she said, "Oh, I can pay everything," but I said, "Okay, just bring the kids and you start to play with us." And then another day, like after a month, we met again, and she started to hug me, started to really to cry, saying, "You can't understand how rugby changed our lives in our family. Now my kids that talk with me, now they're really getting better in the school because, I think they're really more focused and they have this kind of hierarchy that they start to have in the club, with the rugby." So really, she was so glad, how we could change this in their lives, And I think that that we do this every day, that we can't realize sometimes how the benefits of it.
Exactly, and I think especially for the youth, it's great you're working with the youth because I think if someone starts young, then you have it for the whole life.
Yeah. We have project now. We are having kids like from 6 till I still play like 45, but we have people playing there with 60, 65,
Wow.
But our main target that we're focused now is to develop like this under 16 to under 20. So now we have, for example, 95 kids, under between 6 and 20. But our project, we're really focusing on develop the rugby there in the club and get to 2022 we want to reach 300 kids, 360 kids between those ages. So, and that's our objective also is like to develop all this, but continuous source for the players for the men's team, to be really for the men's and the girls too, because our girls team have been already 7 times Brazilian championship and the guys 13 times. Championship. So really want to develop this.
Amazing.
So another subject we would like to talk, let's see which was the next one was. So these all pictures of this is our under 18.
Wow, yeah.
That have been champions like this year, like in the São Paulo state, like in the first semester, second semester. Yeah, it's like they have because it was together the under 18 and under 16 as well.
We're going to send Ron these slides afterwards to everybody so they can go through all the slides.
Nice. Yeah, one thing that we want to develop again in the rugby in SPAC is reapproach with the British community because really you had been kind of away and really want to go back to the roots, make contact and try to promote events of the British culture inside the club, so dance and music and theater, whatever we can do. Really want to bring this together to the club again, And so we tried this year, like to start with the Remembrance Day, but as it was that same day that you had like an event in the club, that it was the Lions Kids. So you had like 600 kids between 8 and 14 years old playing in the club with many from many different clubs. So this was not possible to was exactly the same day. But let's see next year if we can do something together because for us we want to show the kids and like to make them know that what happened in the past and what really the British community did for the peace that we have now on our world. And for this, like also with this link together with the British community, wants to promote like English classes especially for the kids that come from the community around the club. We have about like, as I said, like 90 kids that we have between 6 and 18 years old, but about 20 of them really don't have so much money. So we really want to do something that we can give English for them and like give some different knowledge about like computer or like anything, like to really make some difference for them in their lives because we need this in Brazil.
I guess we're running a little late on time. I don't know if you have any final message.
Yeah, just final message like message. One thing that we really like to talk. Financially, we are trying to reach like our stability, but we have just like a project I'd like to talk, and if someone can help us, is the Lei de Incentivo ao Esporte. So we have like a project that we approved with the government, 570,000 reais, that if you reach at least 20% of it, that is kind of 120,000 reais. We can start already to run the project. So we are talking with many people that, or by their companies, or even like by their personal taxes, can put money in our project. That's contact us, because really this is going to help us to make lots of difference. We come to another stage of.
And I think that these incentive programs, they don't cost anything.
Anything.
Exactly. It's just,
they're going to pay already this tax for the government, but instead of paying 100%, they put, like, if they have a company that pay taxes by lucro real, this is the important thing, they destinate 1% of their taxes to our project, and the rest, the 90% are going to go to the government.
Exactly.
And if like it's personal, like it's the 6. And it's very simple. Like they make the deposits in our accounts. That especially for this project is the government that runs it. This account, and we just like give them a receipt. Yeah. And next year, they just when they're gonna pay the taxes, they put the receipt together as part of the tax already paid.
Payment of tax.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
super.
yeah.
Hopefully we find a sponsor for your program.
Very nice. Very nice.
Super. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming to talk to us.
You too. Thank you.
So we're now joined by Paul. Well, thank you very much for joining us. And you're going to tell us about the Royal British Legion and what's been up to over the last year.
Sure, I'll just go back a little bit in the history, so as everyone's aware about the origin of the British Legion. It was formed in 1921 in the UK, and basically the branch here was formed very shortly after. It's not clear, but in 1921 as well. So the history goes back nearly 100 years. And for those of you who don't know what the British Legion is about, it was formed in the aftermath of the First World War, where roughly 6 million UK citizens went off to war, and 725,000 did not come back. And it was the need for support, basically for the families, for the injured who came. That excludes the injury as well. Obviously, 725,000 people went off the war and did not come back. So that's the reason for the Legion being formed. And as I say, in Brazil, we started very early, 1921 here, the Legion branch.
Oh, and it's a long time, and I guess it operates all throughout the world, where you have people who are veterans of the war, and I guess very big in the UK.
Yeah, it's all over the world. I mean, it's throughout, obviously, the British colonies. It's spread throughout there as well, but it's principally where there's been a community. For example, Brazil. Let's look at Brazil. It was not a British colony at any point, but it's where we had strong British communities. And if you look at when we started here, the people went from here off the war, obviously volunteers. There was no compulsion for them to go. Yeah. There was no conscription. They basically moved from Brazil to UK, volunteered and off the war, and that was both in the First and Second World War.
And then even today, we have some people who are there, who are veterans, and their families still alive here in São Paulo.
Yeah, we have, obviously, we look back to the First World War, the descendants that we still have here. A couple of years ago, with the assistance of St. Nicholas School here in São Paulo, we traced the history of a lot of the people who are on the First World War plaque, which is in St. Paul's Cathedral. You will see there are 33 people who did not come back in the First World War. We traced the family histories, and there are descendants still here. Obviously, some families, unfortunately, if you look at some of the names in the plaque, you'll see family names where, unfortunately, the family line did not continue. Because it was the two sons, for example, in one case. But that family line, at that point, finished because of the First World War.
Gosh. Yeah.
And the same with the Second World War. We obviously have descendants, and we have still veterans alive from the Second World War here in São Paulo and also in Brazil, let's say.
And I said, and these are people who basically volunteered to go off to fight the war and then came back to Brazil afterwards.
Yeah. Obviously, their families were here in some cases. Some were, let's look at the Second World War, for example. Some were actually at school in the UK when the war broke out. We have an example of two people that happened. One was 17, the other one was 18. The war broke out. They decided not to come back to Brazil, but to go to war. So there's a lot of connections that makes the Legion here go back and be very proud of what some of the people have done over the period of time.
Thank you. And so, can you tell us about some of the events that you do during the year and what's been happening?
Over the last year, what we've done, we obviously have two main, we call them fundraising churrascos that help us a lot. But basically, we have two churrascos that are now held with the help of St. Paul's School. They held at the school. They help us to gain some money to help the support programs we have for the veterans, families. That keeps us going. I mean, it doesn't provide for all the needs that we have to pay out for, but it keeps us going. The two churrascos are loved by the community. We get roughly 100 to 120 people per churrasco. That's about the average, and they're really people enjoy them. It's like a get together, and it has a social impact because the funds we raise go towards the veterans program.
I guess now that they're organized at St. Paul's, it's in the center of the city, so it's pretty easy to get to for anyone who's in the city.
Sure. There are pros and cons. Some people love SPAC because it's been a long time at SPAC.
Exactly.
There are pros and cons. I mean, we've been very lucky with the support of St. Paul's with the churrascos, and it's working well. Yeah, I mean, there are people who love SPAC. There are people who live out that way. Yeah. So there's always going to be a little, everyone's not going to be happy. Yeah.
And I guess and the other big event, I guess, is you have the churrascos, and I guess the other big event is the Remembrance Day service.
Sure. Before I move to Remembrance, I'll just mention we have other activities here that aren't. I mean, the main service is Remembrance, but we have other activities where we support the Allies, the Allied nations here for the First and Second World War. For example, we're very close to the SPAC, which is it's a Brazilian version, let's say, of the British Legion. Their veterans who went off in the Second World War. Brazil joined the Second World War in 1943. Their veterans went off and fought in Italy, and we try to support them, and obviously they support us as well. So we've had a couple of activities. They have normal events. They have a sort of remembrance service during the year. So we work with them as well. We had a couple of VIP visits with them, and they also have the 7th of September parade. This is really a Brazilian thing, but they have the Desfile Militar, which is the start of the parade, is opened by the veterans wars traditionally. We participate in that as well. So as a British Legion, we're invited to that as well. We work with the and some before I move to Remembrance, some of the other Allied events as well that we participate in. We always take part in the French VE Day. That's Victory Europe Day, which is at the Lycée Pasteur. And the French always invite us back every year. We participate in the American Memorial Service for their Veterans Day, and also the French Armistice Service, which is always on the 11th of November every year. So this keeps us connected with, obviously it's not specifically British organizations, but keeps us connected with the other Allied organizations here. The French have their own grave site in Arras Cemetery. So when they have the 11th of the Armistice Day service, it's always there. It's very poignant. It's very because it's actually in the cemetery and the people are there down below. So it's very poignant. And if I move just a couple of other events that I will get to Remembrance, but it's sort of later on. A couple of events we did last year. We participated for the first time in St. Paul's International Day. It was an invitation that came from the school. We participated with the British Society, the Fundação. So that was very interesting as well for us. We also, obviously we have in São Paulo, and I'm going to say around the state as well, and also in Brazil, we have World War II veterans who are still alive, and that's who we're supporting and helping. We also organize visits to them as well. And that's something that's very important, that we make sure that they're okay, we're in touch with them, we're supporting them correctly as well.
I guess you maintain the register of the veterans who are still alive and around the country.
Yeah, you know, we look after their needs. If it's, for example, anything from medicines to hospital visits to surgeries to support care workers, nurses, etc., we try to get what they need to help. You mentioned Remembrance Day. This year, obviously, last year we had the centenary of the First World War, so it was quite a very important and a big event for us last year, globally for the Legion as well. Yeah, that's obviously with the Legion activities, because where there's other organisations around the world, such as in Canada or Australia or New Zealand, they link very closely with the British Legion. They have their own. The Legion also is in those countries, but they also have their own veterans organisations. So last year was a very strong participation, and in Brazil as well. We had a special service last year, not in 2018, which we had a lot of mementos from people from the First World War, and a lot of photographs and personal items as well. This year we had a normal service. We had 320 people who attended the service this year. We had the military attaché coming down from Brasilia. This year we had a larger group, let's say a Brazilian military present than normal. Yeah, that was the work of the attaché and myself. It's something that's always very well attended from the community as a remembrance service.
We're running a little bit late on time here.
Okay, well, just to finalise, if you want me to.
Yeah.
It's basically, we also have an AGM during the year. We have other events. We have newsletters that go out to the community. We have golf competitions as well to keep the more active people involved. The support we have going out every year is around about 200,000 reais. We don't get any income close to that to cover it, but that's our support at the minute. We've pledged to, and we're working with veterans and their wives, for example. Just to finish, unless we've got any more questions.
No.
Just to finalise and finish, one thing to make very clear: the British Legion is open to anybody as a member. Yeah, so anyone can join. Benefits of joining, obviously, it's helping the Legion in its needs by the fees you pay, and also you have membership at the UK side. If you're visiting the UK or you want to get more involved there, the membership covers you here and there.
Yeah, and I guess in the UK, I mean, it's a huge organisation in the UK, and they do a lot of different events and things. Like, I guess anyone going to the UK would recommend joining just to get involved in the UK side.
Sure. Yeah, there's lots of they have lots of events, and there's lots of discounts available once you've got this membership card. Also, there are social clubs and so on. There's lots more things going on in the UK.
Super. Thank you. Thank you very much for your time, Paul.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. Thanks very much for coming up. We're going to talk to the Carajás Scouts, and I guess we're running a little bit late, Grace, but yeah. So, and I know that you've got a lot of slides here.
I'll go very quick. Very quick.
Okay, maybe you can tell us what the Scouts like. I guess it's a great history of the Scouts and the work that you do, and maybe you could just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for the invite. We have very busy agendas, most of the organizations. So we have the group is growing at the moment. We have a dedicated group of leaders, and the parents are very engaged. We have a good group of parents at the moment organizing events and helping out, because it's all voluntary work, of course. And 2019, we always start with a field day, which is a group event involving the whole family and everything, a day out and outing. Cubs camping, outings, Scouts, Girl Scouts, all the community going to Itatiaia, going camping in the woods, hiking.
And this is open to anyone who wants to join it, and it's like...
Sure, yeah, no, it's open to the whole community, and we have from 7-year-olds all the way to 18-year-olds and beyond as rovers, so we have a big array of activities for all age groups.
And you don't need to speak English or Portuguese, whatever. Like, you have a lot of different languages. I see here you've got written on your shirt English and Spanish, and like a Brazilian Scout and speak English and Spanish.
No, we're open to everyone. Obviously, the Carajás Scout group is a community in the British background, but so we have a lot of the names that we use and the wordings are in English and English songs and everything, but it's all run in Portuguese, let's say, but we do have a British background with it. So we had our camper as well recently, and we managed to have a good event to end the year as the whole community, all Carajás, come over to join, and it's a great way to finish the year.
And in terms of, I think it's and I guess obviously it's focused on youth, and I think it's great in terms of what the youth learns and the confidence they gain. I know you just talked a bit about the benefits that the children get of being involved in the Scouts.
Well, the Scouting is the biggest co-educational movement in the world. So it totally goes with the education of the kid and the character building, the leadership. I'm biased to say, obviously, but as the kid starts at the age of 7 and becomes an adult, all the stuff that they go through in Scouting is amazing for their personality and what they're going to achieve as an adult in society. So we say that mais escoteiros, melhores cidadãos. So we believe that we do make a difference in the community. And also we have international activities. For example, the World Jamboree that we had this year in the States. It happens every 4 years, and it's a great international experience for everyone. It involves 45,000 people of 150 nations.
Hold on, say it again.
It's a huge
45,000 people from 150 nations.
That's it, and it's all linked with the Scout spirit. So you have people from India, from Chile, from Brazil, from Saudi Arabia, from everywhere, and you're linked because of the Scout spirit. And it's just unique. That's an amazing.
And I said it's it's an educational event. I mean, so there's it's an educational process being in the Scouts, and there's different levels, and the person grows over time, and they get more responsibility as they go through the ranks of the Scouts.
Exactly. Yeah. So you start at 7 years old. When you get to 10, you're already leading a small pack of cubs, and then you go to Scouts, and you start again. And when you get to 16, you're leading the patrol. Then you get to Rovers, and then you're doing more adventurous things, more challenging things. And if you want, obviously, become a leader, and then you start to give back a little bit of what you once received. So that's the beauty of it, and I think it's amazing. Also, continuing just very briefly, I know we're in time, but I'm still in my time here. We are very involved with the community, obviously, and we help out in the activities and the events that we can. So we had the Queen's birthday that we helped out, the pet show we always try and help. We had also the Remembrance Service this year that we helped as the group. And we have a good link with SPYC at the moment, especially we have activities at SPYC, which is very important at the moment because we're having our new headquarters at SPYC,
right,
which is a big thing for the Carajás now, a big project of the Carajás is having their new headquarters. We've been working on for over 10 years since we left our last headquarters. So
that means that will you have access to the facilities and the boating and so forth, so the Scouts will be able to learn about boating as well?
Yeah, we have an activity once a year, but we're hoping that from now on we can do more activities together and try and take the Carajás Scouts to also do some activities in the water. We have a video, but I think we don't need to show it now. But I mean, we'll put it later. It's a video about our new headquarters, which is the most important thing that is happening to the Carajás at the moment, like I said. And it's a big project. We're now under construction. We're building there at SPYC, so we're going to have the dream headquarters, hopefully. And obviously, we're in a process to get the right amount of money that we need for the project. So we're in a process of donations and getting all the build-up for us to be able to launch the new headquarters in March, hopefully. So it's a big project, but it's a dream come true. So everyone's involved, and it's just amazing to have this manage to happen this now.
And to contribute to to this is how should I guess you get the site here for donations?
Yes, it's our website carajás.org/Nova Sede, new headquarters, and we have all the information about everything we've been doing so far and how much we need. We received lots of donations already, which we are really grateful for, but we still have a name there. We need to join up so we can do everything that we have planned for and have the dream headquarters for the generations to come, because obviously this is going to be a headquarters, and the Carajás, leading on to the next thing I was going to say, is that next year we celebrate 95 years of Carajás Scouts. It's a big mark, and we're going to have the new headquarters. We have the Jubilee, which is a great camp that we join everyone, so over 250 people camping, parents, old Carajás, the Cubs, the Scouts, Rovers, everyone. So we have a big camp in July, and so next year is definitely going to be a big year for the Carajás. And in January, we even have a jamboree, the Pan American Jamboree in Falls, which we're going to be having 23 Carajás represented. So, yeah, we're there together with the community, and like you said, we're open to everyone. So we have Cubs from the age of 7 to 11, and we have 2 days that we meet up on Fridays and Saturdays. And we have the Boy Scouts from 11 to 18, meeting on Wednesdays from next year on, and the Girl Scouts as well from 11 to 18 on Thursdays. We're welcoming everyone to take part, and we truly believe that scouting can make a big difference in humanity and in the world. Well, obviously, I'm very biased to say, but
well, I guess
really
it wouldn't have been around for so long if it didn't make such a big difference.
Yeah, exactly. It's a big organization, and like I said, the biggest educational organization in the world with many people involved. So we're glad to be part of the community, and hopefully to continue working together and make as much as we can to help.
And good. And we hope you manage to raise the funds for your new.
Thank you. We truly do, and we're hoping for the big event, which obviously everyone's invited to participate of our opening ceremony
in March.
In March, hopefully, yes.
Okay, super.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much. And then I guess finally we have Michael going to tell us about how you're doing.
Fine.
Can tell us about SPIC, and we're just at the
right, yeah.
So so you're the Commodore of SPIC.
Yes. I've taken the role since 2018, 2 years mandate. So yeah, but I'm a member of the club for more than 30 years, enjoying the space, as you can see.
Yeah, it's a great space. And very
some people won't believe that it exists. You know? That
exactly.
An area like this exists it's so close to, so inside of São Paulo. It's very unique, not too far away. A lot of open outdoor area space, and I mean, it's a club that has been serving the British society and sailing community in São Paulo for 100+ years. We celebrated 100 years in 2017. So it's a really nice venue to enjoy an outdoor space with a nice sport like sailing.
Yes, and thank you very much. You had you received a group of people from the Fundação Britânica and for the elderly, and they really loved it. Like, to get out and got on the boats and went out on the lake, and that was really.
Yes, we have. There's a picture there, a slide of. That we can go forward here and quickly talk about this. It was really unique to have to help you guys with this this group here. Find it here.
Gosh, there's a lot of events.
Yeah, here it is.
Yeah.
It's more than 90 elderly that were there, and Bix offered the venue for you guys to take advantage of it. Some of them even went sailing, so it was,
exactly.
Pretty amazing, pretty cool.
Like their first time sailing for a lot of people.
Yeah, exactly. Very good. No, from a community perspective, we've been serving several communities. A very special partnership with the Scouts, the Carajás Scouts, have just finished their presentation here. And I mean, it's a story that the São Paulo Yacht Club and Carajás have together for decades. So now a new venue for them is going to happen inside the SPIC area that we established a space for them, and it's going to be super good. This is the new. It's already under construction, so it's materializing. It's happening. So it's really nice to have that, and we see this as a big change in from a community perspective.
Yeah, I guess it'll become like a center for the community once you get the Scouts in there. It brings more people together at SPIC.
Yes, for sure. We're going to have more, especially more youngsters. SPIC does tend to have a more elderly average age. So with the Carajás coming in, this is going to take the average age down, which is everything we need, everything we want. We want the youngsters, we want the kids, and they're the future. So it's something we really consider extremely positive for the perspective, and in a super environment, a super environment. Exactly. We carry this very big event that we hold and every year, which is the opening regatta that we are supported by Cultura Inglesa even on a regular basis, and it's a big event with more than 200 boats, 500 plus sailors participating, and we organize this whole thing here, and it's a really nice event with a lot of people from the community or outside the community, but it's really the sailing community of São Paulo. People come from Ilhabela, people come from the coast, Praia Grande, Guarujá, also to come and sail in this big opening ceremony of the year. So yeah, that's I think that really resumes SPYC as a venue for the community, for multiple clubs that join together if you want to go sailing or if you just want to enjoy an afternoon or a simple party. Things like
I guess there's a lot of events held at SPYC. I guess on your website, I guess people can just go in and find out about.
Any organization, non-profitable or an actual company or business, they can look for the space, because it is a space that stays pretty remote during the week. People don't. Unfortunately, we all have to work, so during the week we kind of go sailing like we would love to, but it's there. It's there to be used. So the Carajás are going to take advantage of that, but other companies and institutions can take advantage of that, because we have a very good environment for company team building, for getting together, lunches, dinners, whatever.
I guess it's one of the, I guess within the city, I guess it's one of the few places that you can, I guess, organize an event with boating and like getting out of buildings.
Yes, and having the option of an outdoor space and an indoor space. And even a pub. We have a pub there, a very British style pub, so it has a unique look where you can have a nice atmosphere for drinking, something that the Brits like, right?
An age-old tradition.
Yeah, and I think it's worth mentioning this deal that we've had with the British Society. A few families have taken advantage of it. It's this really nice deal, especially for expats or people who are here for a temporary moment, where you can enjoy a summer deal or a winter deal. So you can become a member like anyone else and enjoy the winter or the summer, like December, January, February, for a fixed value and as if you were a member on a real good deal. So people who don't want to become full-time members, yearly members, but they want to take advantage of the venue and use this temporary membership deal that we made for the community, especially for the British Society. So it's worked. Some people have taken advantage of it from the different schools here, where we have some expats, even teachers or families actually. So it's something that works. So we have sailing school as well. With this year we've already taken care of 200 plus students and sailors, kids and adults. So it's a mix, and the club is really run by a group, a committee with counselors and so on. I'm the commoner, but it's not by myself. There's a big team behind, all volunteers. So it's kind of like what you guys have here as well. Yeah,
and I guess it's also a very structured space for children to learn, to go there and learn and I guess be supervised in terms of step by step of becoming sailors.
It's a very unique environment, very special to. There's a lot of things that you can take advantage of that space, so come and visit us anytime. Anyone is welcome, and take advantage of this place.
Super. Thank you very much, Michael. I think with that, I think we'll finish off our webinar. I think thank you for all the time, and I guess a Merry Christmas to everybody who's listening, and I guess we'll be sending out a copy of the recording, also the slides to whoever wants them. And I guess on the slides you got the links to everyone who took part.
Yeah.
Okay, so thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
Bye. Smart initiative. You're tired, right?